Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to just touch base here really quick. And today we're going to talk about a variety of things. I'm kind of going off script here. In fact, there's no script. So we could talk about literally anything. But today I am really more concerned about discussing mom guilt to some degree and some other things that have been on my mind. So let's get into it. I think the first thing I want to address is one of the major issues I'm having with mom guilt right now is my house being messy. And I am not like the weirdest clean freak out there. Like I like being clean. I like having a clean space. So I'm not like a total slob. But I can deal with probably a little more mess than like your average clean freak. But my house, like my daughter is in this little phase of paper family. And I've actually discussed this in a previous video, but she'll put together these little paper dolls essentially. And there's just paper everywhere. She cuts them out. It's so much paper. And I'm having a hard time with it. It's getting on my nerves to the point where I'm like, I can't go into a room without it just feeling in disarray. And so my mind is feeling that way. One thing I learned rather in school and for counseling when I was going through my master's program was that depression and anxiety often come on as a result of the disarray in one's environment. And I think that's so true. So you have like a messy space and your brain just gets a little out of sorts and you feel out of sorts and then the whole day feels out of sorts and it can be a little odd. So that's where I'm at right now. Our bonus room is a wreck. Like, it's just a wreck. It's usually a wreck. I addressed that on a previous episode. But my daughter has decided to start hanging out with us in other rooms, which is such a good thing. I keep telling myself, this is a great thing. She wants to be with us, right? But she brings her mess with her. And I'm laughing, but I'm crying inside. Because I want a clean house. And I don't. Okay, so let's also talk about the fact that you don't have as much energy as you did before. You ain't as young as you used to be kind of thing. And I really feel that being an older mom. And people are like, older mom. Yes, I'm 40 years old. I had my daughter at 36. They called it a geriatric pregnancy. Yes, I felt a certain kind of way about it. I don't like it, okay? I don't like being called an old mom. And they did that from birth. I am still salty about it. Anyhow, I digress. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the mess. So I'm just having a really hard time with this mess. And I want things to be neat and orderly. But the other side of me is the working mom who doesn't really have time. And then the other side is the 40-year-old mom who's like, I am too tired for this. I don't have the energy to be running around and making sure my house is spotless all the time. I just don't. And maybe that makes me, I hate to say it, maybe that's a character flaw. Is this a character flaw, guys? Am I like, do I need to figure some things out here? Because if I do, I hate to say it, but I don't know that I have the energy to address it. That's where I am right now. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. Getting too old for this. Oh, just kidding. I'm not too old. I just feel that way. And yes, I'm taking my supplements and I'm taking care of myself and I try to eat well and I try to work out and do all the things. But at some point, y'all, like the energy just goes off the cliff. And you don't know how you got it before, but you know you lost it and you don't know how to get it back. It's just how it is. So you 20-somethings and early 30-somethings who have kids, like count your blessings because that energy that you have, it's going to tank one day. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's going to tank. Like It's just the way of nature, and you can take care of yourself and you can do all the right things. And at some point your body's going to be like, "Skirt, nope." And you're going to be like, "What do I do now?" Exactly what I'm doing now. I took care of myself. I worked out. I drink water. I did all the things. And I am really mad about it, okay? Because I spent years, years taking care of myself. Like, to a fault, in the gym. And I enjoyed being in the gym. I'm not complaining, saying it was a wasted time. It was obviously, it paid off, okay? I delivered my daughter naturally, and I can say that it is the most athletic thing I've ever had to do in my life, and I think my lucky stars, I was in some of the best shape of my life at that point. But, that energy just does not stick with you like it used to. So you have to get a little more creative, and I'm just trying to generate the creativity to go clean. Like right now, I should probably be cleaning, but I'm recording a video about it because I feel like it needs to be said. And there's some mom out there who feels the same way as me. So when you see this, I need you to comment. I need you to share. I need you to like. I need you to be my champion here because I know we're not alone here. All right. I am self-diagnosed ADHD, and I say that kind of as a joke, but also like real, because I really think it's legitimate. And when I discovered this, I was actually not in my counseling program. I was a few years later, and I was like, I wonder if this is a symptom of this. And I always called it something else, like, oh, I'm an introvert, or I'm just, exhausted. And I didn't realize why I was exhausted. I didn't realize why I didn't want to see people. And I didn't realize why. And sometimes you have to stop and ask yourself, why? And my sister and I were talking, I don't know, we talk about this frequently. But when we first started talking about it a few months ago, things started clicking. And I was like, wow, well, that's interesting. Maybe I might be a little ADHD. And I started doing a little more digging. Yeah, when you have a counseling background and you do a little more digging, you're probably going to find some things you don't want to find. Y'all, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. I'm pretty sure I've had it my whole life. Like high functioning, perfectionist, high achieving. Yeah, apparently I was just smart enough to compensate for whatever handicap ADHD was dealing me at the time. So I talked about this with my best friend too. And she was like, oh, women are great maskers. And I'm like, ooh, girl, I've been masking my whole life. Like masking like it was my job. So it makes cleaning, especially postpartum. Oh my gosh. You never realize how ADHD you really are until postpartum hits and you're like, burn it down. Burn it down. I don't even know how I survived. But it makes cleaning almost impossible some days. And you look at the mess and you feel the anxiety rising. So it starts here and it goes all the way up your neck, like you've got that knot in your throat and you're going to cry, but you can't cry. So it just expresses itself in crazy. Yeah. That's me sometimes. Hello, my name is Charity, and sometimes I can be a little bit crazy. Not legitimately crazy, just like what society calls crazy, like what the normies call crazy. If you're a normie, welcome. I still love you. But we are not the same. I can tell you that. If you're listening to this podcast and thinking, I just don't relate to her, you're probably a normie, and that's fine, okay? Congrats that you're a normie and you don't struggle like I struggle to clean and do normal people things. And I'm not using this as an excuse. I am saying this as an accountability thing. I'm putting this out there on the internet, no less, to make sure my daughter knows one day that her mother also struggled. So if she struggles, this is where she gets it from. And we're going to figure out what to do about it. So I'm not here just complaining and saying, this is just who I am, and this is just how things are, and just sitting in my junk. Okay, we're not doing that. We're saying, this is how it is, this is how it's always been, but I got to figure out a way to change it because it's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. So I don't know if y'all have any tips, because all of the tips that I get aren't working for me right now. And if I write it down, I forget where I wrote it down at. If I put it on my phone in a checklist, I forgot that I put it there. So your girl is struggling a little bit and just want to fix it already because it's exhausting. But last night, when we did get the little to clean up her spot, mind you, I cleaned up a lot with her. But we did get her to clean up her spot. So the very messy space downstairs that she had brought all her paper family with her to hang out with us because she's just so sweet and she wants to be with mommy and daddy. Thankfully, that has been mitigated. But now I'm dealing with what exists upstairs. And it's not pretty, and it's a struggle. And what's even more interesting about all this is the fact that there's a storage issue. So some of you may be thinking, Charity, just shove it in a bin and put it in a storage closet. And I say to that, fantastic idea. Can you get me a house with storage? Because that's something I don't have. I feel like the architects of this subdivision in particular just looked at the house and was thinking, it's an open concept. It was built in the time where the open concept was big. And they were like, let's make this as open as possible. And they did. And they did a fantastic job at it. Like, it's got some cool spots. But they forgot one crucial thing. Closets. It's like they were like, you don't need things. Family's enough. Good luck. That's what I feel like happened. And I'm convinced that's what happened because no rational person who builds a house with no closets. Crazy people. I don't even have a linen closet, people. Okay, I have no linen closet. Do you want to know the square footage? I don't even know the square footage actually, but I'm going to make it up. I'm going to show you about yay big how big my little coat closet is. The entryway coat closet is smaller than one of the narrowest doors that you can buy on the market. I promise you, it's like this big, and I'm not exaggerating. It can't be more than 18 inches. It is ridiculous. It's crazy small. You can hardly fit anything in there. And it's a little much to have to figure out what to do with all your crap when you have no crap keepers. I have no crap keepers. Remember, like in the 90s, we had trapper keepers and you kept all your school crap in there? I need a crap keeper for my house because I don't have one. So if anybody knows how to find me a house with some closets in the Nashville area that doesn't cost $1 million, that would be fantastic. Thanks. Because Nashville homes are... Y'all think it's expensive to live in some of these areas where y'all are? Come to Nashville, or don't rather. Don't come to Nashville because it is nuts. And I heard that interest rates are coming down. I'm like, fantastic. Can we also bring down the price of homes? That would be cool. That'd be really great. Because I am struggling to organize stuff And I bought things to organize, and I can organize really well when you have like an unlimited budget to buy organizational things, but organizational things are expensive. Like they are not cheap. And so I have a few things and we've made use of them. But it's like, where do you put those organizational things? Like you have to build out everything in this house. And I am grateful to have a home. Super grateful. I'm not complaining about having a home. I'm complaining that the architects were idiots. They were dumb. Sorry if you're an architect and you worked in the Nashville area in the early aughts. You're a turd. I don't like you very much. I'm sorry. Jesus still loves you, though. I just don't. I mean, I can love you in the sense like Christian charity type thing, but not loving what you did to my home at all. Just not. So moving on. So yeah, I need a Crapkeeper. I don't have one. Not one that actually works with the flow of how we live. So yeah, I need a Crapkeeper. I need some better closet space. I need some help, y'all. For real, I need some help. I think the next thing I need to address as just a natural segue here is motivation. Definitely goes hand in hand with cleaning and literally everything else you have to do as a mother. And the motivation factor for me is that my daughter will have a good life, right? And she will have what she needs and all of that other stuff. But some days I just cannot get motivated. And it's a little bit rough. When I was younger, I could just get up, stay busy. As long as I stayed busy doing things, I stayed motivated. Well, now with lower energy levels, the motivation tends to tank because you don't have as much energy to stay busy all the time. Like as long as I would keep going, like in my 20s, I could move from project to project to project to project. And that was enough to keep me stimulated. Now that I'm looking back, I see it's definitely a function of high functioning ADHD. I'm moving from project to project to project to project. And yeah, I would have trouble completing them sometime, but most of the time I finished the project, but I would just go right to the next one because that high of like accomplishing something and then moving on to another very exciting, stimulating project was just everything. But I had the energy for that. And now it is the opposite. I do not have the energy to go from project to project to project to project. My project is my daughter. It is balancing career with home, with church, and all of the other things that I'm involved with. And while I'm not like heavily involved with church like I used to, just because of the natural outworkings of motherhood, and my ministry is really in the home. Like this is where I love to be because this is where my daughter is, and I'm pouring into her, right? So that's all well and good, but it is one consistent project. Motherhood is the hobby you can never quit because you're always a mom, Not that you would ever want to quit. It's just some days you need a little change of pace and it can become monotonous in some ways. My daughter is super interesting. It is never a dull day with my daughter. It's just all the other things surrounding the kid that makes it dull. Like, oh, you made this really cool craft project. Great. Now I have to clean up. Oh, you don't want to help me clean. Okay, now I got to be the bad guy. That's fun. Now I gotta XYZ, now I have to make sure that I discipline you, or I have to make sure that we talk about why it's important to clean. And those are all natural conversations most of the time, but there are some times that it's just real work, and I don't think enough women talk about how monotonous it can be and how challenging it can really be with ADHD as well. So I am kind of new to the ADHD world. I was never diagnosed as a kid. I guess I just masked really well. And also I think because my parents were boomers, for better or worse, they were kind of like of that generation of like, rub some dirt on it. It'll be okay. And yeah, they were nurturing and they were, it wasn't all that, but they weren't really big on let's go get you diagnosed. And I'm kind of glad that they weren't, because I would have been high out of my mind on Adderall or whatever other drug they put kids on ADHD. And I'm grateful. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for not medicating me, but I got to have some kind of coping issue or coping mechanism going forward. I think I managed okay. Like I did okay. But right now I can honestly say that I'm struggling to like just do normal mom stuff. I see some moms just killing it. They're like, they get up, they get dressed, they do normal things like go have coffee or go to work and come home and make dinner and get the kids ready for bed and then somehow work out and somehow do extracurriculars. I don't know how they're doing any of that. What? You're doing extra stuff on top of momming? I'm sorry. Momming is my extracurricular activity. If nobody else knows it, podcasting is the only thing I'm doing outside of momming right now. Period. I'm not dancing. I hardly go to the gym. I got those little tube bands to work out at home because I can't get to the gym. And that's not a cop-out. That's just it's a timing thing. And like fighting traffic to get to the gym, fighting traffic to get home, and then somehow by some miracle of God making dinner and getting my kid bathed and ready for bed and all that in time for her to get enough sleep for the next day, including myself. Get out of here. That's not happening. In what world is that happening? In whose world? In whose world? If you're the mom who's doing that, I need you to write me a schedule for what time you get up, what time you have lunch, what time you go to bed, if you're taking supplements, if you're working out, what time you get to the gym, what time you get home, what time you actually get to make dinner, bathe your kid, do all the things. Please share. Please share, because I need a schedule. I need you to tell me it's possible. And by the way, my commute to my gym would be approximately like 20 minutes-ish. So if you can, and then the commute home is going to be 30-ish. And that's not counting with traffic. So you might as well just figure in another 15, 20 minutes with traffic. I do not know. In whose world is this happening? I just don't. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I had a soapbox today. I had started doing your normal series and tried to be all professional about it. And I just ran out of ideas. I'm not going to even front. I ran out of time and I ran out of ideas. So now I'm just winging it. There's no script here. We're just rolling off the cuff here. All right. So I hope you like it real, because I got nothing else. Okay. I don't do fake. I don't do phony. This is real. The most phony thing is my makeup right now. Okay. I did my makeup because I didn't want to look trashy. I don't look great on camera without makeup, in my opinion. So I did my makeup. Sue me. Don't sue me. No, don't sue me. You won't win, actually. So maybe do sue me. All right, cool. Fine. Sue me. And then I'll win and get the money. I can roll with that. Anyhow, moving on. What else can we talk about today? Let's dive into the subject of homeschooling. Okay, I have a story for you. Story time. And there's a lot of ums here, and I'm sorry, guys. There's no script. Zero script. I'm and umming it out the wazoo, and I know, and I'm sorry, so deal with it, or log off, don't watch. I mean, at this point, I care, but I don't, okay? You're getting 100% realness right now. Like I said, I don't like phony. So anyway, I started looking into homeschooling several months ago. This wasn't super recent, but this several months ago, and didn't actually get through the process of the application because we decided we were going to enroll her in a public school. Well, Frank, my dearest Frank, he comes home the other day and is telling me about some issue with the registration, and he's having some problems and not sure how it's going to turn out. So we're like, we need a plan B. And what is our plan B? So immediately I'm thinking, I got to figure this out. And I thought, okay, of course, the research I'd done about homeschooling would come in handy here, come into play here. And I started looking at it again, started bringing up some of the same information again. And I actually went as far as to start the application process because I was like, we can't lose time on this. Like you have to enroll your kid, right? Like it's kind of the law. And technically, in Tennessee, we don't have to enroll her until she's 6 concurrently. But I don't want to wait. I mean, she's a very smart kid. There's no reason to hold her back. So anyhow, I'm trying to get ahead of it. I'm trying to be a good partner, trying to take the loose ends and meet them somewhere else if necessary. So Frank is doing all he can on his side, and I'm crossing my fingers, but obviously you got to figure it out, right? So I dive into this application, and it's pretty extensive. I'm not going to lie. It was a little more involved than I expected. And it gets to the point where it's asking about your faith and asking about, some pretty personal questions. And then it gets to references. Yeah, you heard me right. References. Guys, if you're applying to a homeschool tutorial, because that's what this thing was, you're going to need some references, spiritual ones and personal ones. It's like applying to a job. I'm sorry, I didn't know I needed a whole resume to enroll my kid in a homeschool tutorial. Are you kidding? What? I was floored. I am still floored. That I'm still kind of speechless about it. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if I should think it's a good thing or a bad thing. In the moment, I was like, huh? What? And I'm still kind of in that what stage. I'm, again, speechless. I don't have a lot of things to say about that, but I wanted to inform you, if you are at all entertaining the idea of enrolling your child in a homeschool tutorial that meets twice a week, they're probably going to ask you some pretty personal questions outside of the normal address and telephone number and, all the stuff we came up with in public school, like who's your emergency contact? Who do we call if your nose is bleeding or if your kid is vomiting, right? I'm just shocked that it's a whole job interview. I mean, it really, truly kind of is a job interview. And there was a 2-step process. And thankfully we didn't have to employ that option this year because the registration is complete and we're good to go. Whew, but it was touch and go for a second there. But yeah, I wanted to inform you, if you're at all entertaining signing your kid up for a homeschool tutorial, then you're probably going to be in the same boat with the whole job application process. So you might want to strike up that resume and fire it up and get it all nice and polished. Get your references in order. Oh, my stars. What? Okay. All right. It's probably time for me to sign off. If I can't think of anything better to talk about, we're definitely signing off on this one. Oh, I feel like it's kind of becoming a train wreck. Let me know, though. Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, there is one more thing. I may lose the whole 3 followers I have on this one. But guys, I have to address this because it's funny. It is objectively funny. And as mothers, we need to laugh. We just need to laugh. So I will bring you to Exhibit A, and I have no actual Exhibit A. I'm not playing the clip here because I don't want to be canceled before I even get started, right? But I want to point you to Drewski's new video. And if you're at all alive right now, you probably know what I'm talking about. The one involving Erica Kirk, where he puts on whiteface and he is, imitating conservative women, which is hilarious. It's hilarious. It's objectively funny. Okay. I am not mad at the man. I laughed so hard. Okay. Like I laughed so hard. And I want to address something because in case you're a conservative person and you are listening, if you must know, I am neither on the left or the right. I'm kind of smack in the middle and I lean a little conservative. But it kind of just depends on the issue. And yes, I'm a Christian woman as well. So for all intents and purposes, I follow scripture as closely as I can. That's my own personal belief. And those are my guiding principles. But, there is plenty of comedic fodder in the church. And if you've been in the church your whole life, like me, you know it's true, okay? It's just true, okay? I'm not hating on anybody. I think we should call out our own. And I am completely aware that the other side, whomever you are talking about when you say the other side, usually it's the right saying it about the left or the left saying it about the right. Okay, whatever. But they usually don't call out their own, okay? They. And what I appreciate about Drewski is that he started with the black church and he's also doing the white church. I'm sorry. It's funny. It's funny. It is so funny. And I say the white church because I think overall evangelicalism has largely been driven by these white mega churches. And Erica Kirk is part of that scene. Like it or not, Turning Point became part of that scene. So, like it or not. And she's been involved in politics for a little while now, apparently, according to some sources. And so this should just not really be news to her. Like, if you're going to be involved in politics, if you're going to be in the public eye, if you're at all going to be seeking out attention in the form of a podcast or anything else, this is me included, you have to be willing and able to recognize there are going to be some people who hate it. There are going to be some people who meme you. There are going to be some people who just ignore you entirely. And that's fine. That's fine. The reasons I'm doing this are different than the reasons somebody else does what they're doing. But for people to be on a high horse, and I am telling you, people are big mad about Drewski imitating Erica Kirk. I mean, big mad. And these are some of the same people who will tear down other people. And I'm like, your outrage just doesn't land. Okay, it just doesn't. So shut up. All right. So that's what I have to say about that. I think that if you're a comedian and you are ripping on everybody, then everybody is fair game. Period. So that's where I stand with it. I have a good sense of humor. I can take things personally. I'm not going to lie, but I'm also not a public figure. I don't intend to be. Like I said, this podcast was created essentially for other moms and for other moms to find community and also for my daughter when she becomes a mom one day. But somebody may take something in this podcast and run with it and make me a meme. I hope to God that doesn't happen anytime soon. Although if it were funny, I would have to laugh at it. I mean, if you're a comedian and you're good at it, right? So Anyway, maybe that's a challenge to somebody. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it's been a long one. This is probably the longest podcast I've done so far, the longest episode I've done so far. So if you need to break it up in a few sections, I totally get it. But I really hope you have enjoyed, and I hope that we can continue to bring this realness more often. So if you have any ideas for specific topics you'd like me to be extra real about, leave them in the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye.